can't call me on exchange. Funny, so a lot of people just want to work. As many smart contracts as you want, and you can.
Hello, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky episode 15. Today, going to talk about the hackathon and the projects in the hackathon, and also a little about the load test and what's coming. So most of this I'm going to read because I don't have it all memorized, but we basically had a hackathon last week. It was only 4 or 5 days, and there were over 100 people registered. There were 5 teams that participated and submitted. We had Tempguard from Crypto Lothar that won the prizes of commercially viable and most innovative. It's a temperature monitoring solution that uses IoT sensors to automate and ledger monitoring of temperature on the blockchain for provability that food products or other sensitive materials make it through a supply chain. Its primary use case is food industry. The regulators, USDA requires every food handling entity to assure that certain foods are kept certain temperatures, obviously, before so they don't spoil or rot or anything else. And it can be manipulated. So by using sensors in the blockchain, you can save resources, and you can also prove that that you're being honest. The next was CE Blocks, and that was John Once More, winner of Best Integration. John's had videos on here before, of course. He's done a lot of great stuff in the community. CE Blocks is an accredited continuing education certificate authority, loyalty program, and marketplace solution all in one. Basically, it provides ledger records for credit earned for people in different industries that are getting continuing education and have to keep up their licensing for a state. And all the states are different, and he had interesting things in there about that. He had built-in tokens that can be redeemed with the original provider or in a marketplace of other cooperative entities. Really interesting because you can use those tokens to get products or to take other courses that you would need. So the providers would benefit from increased loyalty, and the partners would gain access to an audience of customers. Good stuff, right? All parties can rely on a solution because it's third-party managed, and it's verified and secured on Dragonchain with proof all the way to Bitcoin, Ethereum, so on. The next was Melange, which was Alan Dunham, winner of Most Creative. It was a meme tracking chain, chain in a couple of different ways as well, capable of registering, tagging, and tracking memes, and the sharing of memes. That is the path they travel on across social networks. It's also images were branded with digital watermark using steganography, with a path embedded in the image itself, and the chain can act as a repository for the meme images, and the ability to track and then later actually influence the traceability of those memes. Really interesting stuff. Next was Skybelt, which is a blockchain as a service designed for business system managers and administrators to write transactions to the blockchain. It plugs into existing solutions, SaaS, PaaS, for repeatable processes, and it had basically ways to spin up chains, if I understand correctly. Let's see here. The next was Dragonoff Video, which small application that uses GOCV packages for face detection and neural network recognition. I believe that it didn't have the neural network trained yet, but it was interesting nonetheless. It actually ties into some things that we're interested in for Dragon Factor, and the use of facial recognition without becoming a police state like in China or some Orwellian world. And one way or another, there are interesting things there. So no one provided an interchain, so we don't have that prize to give away, or no one used an interchain. But it was only about 4 days of dev time, so we're really impressed with what was built in that amount of time. I'm going to talk to the devs and see about if we do another one, if it would be longer, right? If it were more than a few days. I think they set that aside to make sure that we could support the process and it wouldn't be too long, too much added work for the devs, because they have regular things to do during the week. So the prizes go out. Tip Guard, most commercially viable and most innovative. He gets 1 Bitcoin worth of Dragon, which I'm not certain if this is the number, if it was taken that morning or not. I assume it is. It was basically $7,100 worth of Dragon, and also a quarter of a Bitcoin, so $1,796 worth of Dragon. An engraved Dragonchain Ledger Nano, 6 months free on Dragonchain's managed service platform, and feature on this show here in the coming weeks, I assume. The next CE Blocks got best integration. They get a quarter Bitcoin, again, just about $1,800 worth of Dragon. An engraved Ledger Nano S, 6 months free, managed service platform, and a feature again here. Melange gets 0.1 Bitcoin, which is $718 worth of Dragons. An engraved Ledger Nano also, 6 months free also, and a feature here. Skybelt and Dragon Off Video both receive Ledger Nano S's, and I think we had said it was one per team, but we're going to give one per member, because at least a couple of those have multiple team members, and it made sense. Claims about so that's basically the hackathon. I'm hoping to do more in the future, hopefully the very near future, and we'll see how that goes. I'll see what we can set aside in time to make happen, and we'll announce that. Hopefully it'll be longer and maybe be more regular. In the meantime, you can look at the strategic bounty page for ideas on projects to build, and there already are layouts for the projects that we've defined that we would like to see because we need to use them, and some of those have been claimed and some of them are in process. Also the bug bounty page related, which we're getting really good contributions there. We've gotten really good feedback. We've gotten a good number of actual information to fix bugs and or security issues. So really good stuff. Okay, so we did a load test very recently, last week, and there was a lot of excitement about it because it was just an honest, simple demonstration of the platform and DragonNet itself, and we did something above 2 million transactions in about 18 minutes time. We kept it, I think, around 1,800 transactions per second. So, and that was, something that we had done in staging, and we wanted to, show it in production and do it live. We had some feedback. There were some misinterpretations of what we were testing or what the point of the test was, and some, I think, mischaracterizations of the comparison. That is, we put it up for a comparison to Ripple because its intent is to provide high transaction throughput, and we wanted to demonstrate, okay, we can do that with a more generic platform that is a smart contract or ledgering platform where it's not strictly used for currency or asset transfer. So the actual system ran through a single laptop that's the test harness. So it was basically a Locust application running on Robbie's laptop, feeding a single node with a bulk set of transactions, because we were trying to model what you would see in a regular network, not what you would see from a single machine. So we were using the bulk API, and we weren't testing only in-house, only locally, only on a single box, which some people were saying, which is silly. We wouldn't do that. We were testing DragonNet. We were testing the business node itself to see if you were a customer, how many transactions could you get through on a single node. But it isn't just getting them through on a single node, because you could install Apache or Nginx or something, and you could accept a tremendous number of transactions. What we're talking about is the fact that we have to do the processing, we have to do the auth, we have to do all of the things up front on a network before we accept a transaction. That is the node, before the node accepts a transaction. And then you have to get consensus for every one of those. So it has to go through the level 2 validation, the level 2 diversity, level 3 diversity, the level 4 notary, and then onto either Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, or Binance right now. So the ability to see that many transactions go through the live production network was what the test was supposed to be. We also had some people talking about the appropriateness of a comparison to Visa, and I think we had compared it to Ripple, but either way, the conversation led to Visa, and the fact that it's processing huge numbers of transactions worldwide at the rate of 1,700, I believe, or 2,000 per second, with a peak of, depending on what numbers you look at, 24,000 or 37,000, I think I've seen too, per second, a peak maybe right before Christmas or Black Friday, who knows. And our answer to that mostly is that, we're not building a Visa network. That's not what Dragonchain is, right? What we're trying to show is that Visa could come in and build on a platform, and that the platform and the consensus could bear it, right? That the whole point of the Dragonchain architecture is that you can build anything on it, and things that we don't care about, don't know about in your industry, in your company, things like that. And so the architecture itself is laid out so that your business node can do whatever your web service machine could do in a traditional world. That you can build a scaled application, and that scaled application can feed the transactions up through DragonNet and leverage the hash power of Bitcoin, the network and hash power of Ethereum, the staking power of other chains, and whatever other various algorithms are there for consensus. That's the whole point of it. So it's an interesting thing that yes, this is not a comparison to Visa, but what it is a demonstration of the ability to scale on the Dragonchain platform. So we will, and by the way, that one was supposed to be a very simple test, a very, just a quick demonstration that was convenient to put together. We have plans to put out a couple of other demonstrations, and the intent really is to open source the data, to detail document all the test configuration so that someone else could do it on their own as well, to repeat it, but so that everybody can see the data, they can look at it, they can see the verifications have gone through, and they wouldn't have to trust us. So that's the point of it. We will be doing that, and probably varying levels of transactions per second, or different scaling. We do want to do a couple too that would have different types of data, larger payloads, smaller payloads, realistic payloads. So anyway, that's everything for today. We will have some things going on in the coming weeks, at least, especially beginning of the year. See you next week.